Hey there, welcome back to another review, this time of the 1990 made-for-TV movie, Night Visions, directed by Wes Craven. Wes Craven also helped write the film, along with a writer named Thomas Baum, and the film stars James Remar as Sergeant Thomas Mackey, Loryn Locklin as Dr. Sally Powers, Penny Johnson Jerald as Luann, Francis X. McCarthy as Commissioner Nathan Dowd, Mitch Pileggi Horace Pinker himself as Captain Keller, and Jon Tenney as Martin. And this is a movie that I would probably say is Wes Craven's most obscure film. This is a film that I didn't even barely even knew existed for the longest time until recently. Anyway, I was just looking through Wes Craven's filmography, and I'm going through it in a chronological order, and we see like this TV movie he did called Night Visions, and I'm like, okay, what the hell is this? And I had pretty much no hope for this. I thought this was going to be terrible. It was going to be extremely bad. It was going to be a chore to sit through. But I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the 2 cans of Mellow Yellow I drank, a couple nights ago when I saw this. It was hopped up on caffeine and sugar. But I actually ended up liking the film. I thought it was actually surprisingly entertaining and surprisingly a lot of fun to watch. That was actually pretty good for what it was. It's a TV movie, so a lot of TV movies definitely do have limitations. It definitely did feel like it was a pilot for a TV show that never happened. I have to admit the title really doesn't fit a lot of what's going on in the movie. I mean, there's shifts in tone, like it's it's interesting. It's definitely a very intriguing experience to watch this film because does not feel like a Wes Craven movie for majority of it. There's bits and there's little starts and sputters. There's little spurts of Wes Craven, that you're the Wes Craven that you're used to, but rest of the film just feels like a regular, old 90s cop show or a 90s cop movie. And that's what really makes the film stand out to me with in regards to a lot of his other films in his filmography, because this is pretty much his cop movie. If you're really curious to see what Wes Craven's take is on a cop movie, a 90s cop movie, I would recommend this. I really would. It's on YouTube, so I'm gonna put a link down below in the description box, so you can watch it and check it out for yourself. But yeah, this is a film that is pretty much Wes Craven's take on a 90s cop movie, or a 90s cop show. It's a lot of fun to watch. Um, James Remar he plays an asshole. He's a total asshole, but he's a likable asshole. He's an asshole detective cop who, he's abusing the rules and is, messing around with the witnesses and police brutality, like, going on the fringe of it, and he's on the bad side of his boss, and his captain, Captain Keller, played by Mitch Pileggi, whom Mitch Pileggi does a great job in this. It was really a lot of fun to see Mitch Pileggi work with Wes again, and this is about pretty much after Shocker. And he really owns this role as this police captain, this hard-ass police captain. So I really like the back and forth that he and James Remar had. And James Remar is just spouting one-liner after one-liner in like the first 20 minutes of the film. And you're like, I really enjoy the moments where James Remar is on screen. I have a lot of fun with James Remar in this movie. Um, there's fun lines of dialogue where he's driving in a residential area and he's driving past these joggers, and the joggers get kind of upset at him and yell at him, and he's all like, "God, I hate joggers. Why run? Why run if you're not breaking the law?" I just thought it was actually pretty funny. He's like, "God, I hate joggers. Why run if you're not breaking the law?" And then yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff with him. He goes to this crime scene, and this one security guy is not letting him in. and he pulls a gun on him, and he's like, "How'd you like both your kneecaps or paperweights?" So, it's the same sort of, fun stuff. Where the film kind of suffers, though, is from these really cornball moments, and from the fact that it's not really from the point of view of James Remar. James Remar's character is definitely the strongest character out of the film, and the one that you really like to watch the most. But the film decides to focus more on his partner, played by Loryn Locklin, Dr. Sally Powers. Her last name is Powers, and she happens to have psychic powers. But not only that, she's also a cop. So she's a psychic cop. And then, not only that, that's not it. There's more to this character. She not only has psychic powers, and she's also a cop, and she's James Remar's partner. She also has multiple personalities. So it's like it's three different things that are going on here. And at first I was confused when I was watching this. I was like, why the hell is she acting so weird? And then I'm like, oh, okay, she's got it's one of her multiple personalities. All right. And that actually kept me engaged in the film. I mean, her performance is all right. When she's just playing herself, it kind of sucks, but when she's playing like different personalities, she actually does a pretty good job. So it's like when she's just playing herself, it's pretty bland and a pretty kind of sucky performance. But when she's playing these different characters, like she's playing like a biker chick with what looks like something that you'd see Black Scorpion wear. You know that if anybody out there who's watching this remembers that show used to be on the Sci-Fi Channel or USA, where you had like the Black Scorpion. I think there's like TV movies where Joan Severance stars as Black Scorpion. She's like a superhero, drove in like a kind of like a Batmobile and everything. She fought like Batman villains, pretty much, rip-offs of Batman villains. Um, she's got a similar outfit, slick black hair, slick back hair, driving on a motorcycle, and skimpy outfits. She's a debutante, rich debutante in one personality, and another one, she's a really uh, hot girlfriend for some movie star. So it was just kind of, it really adds to the film's entertainment factor because you don't know what personality you don't know what personality she's going to be in next. So just waiting for her to jump into another personality, which actually might have been a pretty cool idea for a show. Yes, it does pretty much. Multiple personalities is a pretty serious disorder, and it is does kind of romanticize it, but I'm okay with it because it is pretty interesting. That was pretty fun. It adds for multiple different opportunities for different personalities for her to take on, and in the film and possibly in a TV series, but it never really came to be. The show never really happened. Um, but anyway, her performance is there, but when it focuses on her too much, I'm kind of like, I really wish they focused more on James Remar. He kind of takes a back seat to the proceedings after a while, and it's not as fun to watch when James Remar is not on the screen doing stuff and saying funny one-liners and so forth. So, but it's still watchable when Loryn Locklin's there, though. Mainly for some really cool sequences where she has these flashbacks and these daymares, these nightmares she has of these events that happened when she was a child. She was a child, and she was attacked by this killer. And these are some really well shot sequences by Wes Craven. These are the moments I was talking about where you get a little bit of that spurt of Wes. It feels like Wes. It and he did a great job with these different angles. Like he had all these different shots in these sequences shot at different angles, helter skelter. And it looks like it might have been a trial run for his work on People Under the Stairs, which would come out a year after this. And so, yeah, it was a really, really, really solid, really well done sequences where you deal with when she's having these flashbacks and these events when she was a child, where she was chased by a killer. And then, speaking of killers, the main gist of the plot is that there's this killer going around killing these beautiful women. In the beginning of the movie, it actually starts out in like a dance club, like it's at a club, and I think they're doing the lambada and stuff, and I'm like, wow, like when you see the name Wes Craven and then you see lambada dancing, you would just say, Wow, this is so ridiculous. But it's actually pretty entertaining because of its ridiculousness. And it doesn't stop there because one of Loryn Locklin's multiple personalities is as an aerobics dance class instructor who has a Valley Girl accent. So she's all talking about like, oh, come on, all right, now stretch, all right, girls, all right, now do it. Oh my. All right, now spin those heads around, spin those heads 360. All right, now vomit. That's a reference to Stay Tuned if anybody gets it. But yeah, aerobics dance instructor. Um, but so they're trying to stop this killer, and this is another part of there's this is another corny moment in the film where, oh man, the name of the killer is has to be the stupidest, silliest name for a serial killer since the Happy Face Killer from The Howling. And I don't know if you're meant to take this seriously or not, but it's a fucking joke. Mitch Pileggi's talking about the killer, and I had to make sure I rewound it because I'm like, wait a second, did I actually hear that? I had to make sure I heard this name for sure, and I did. The name of the killer in this in Night Visions is the Spread Eagle Killer. And then they nickname him the Eagle every now and then. We gotta stop the Eagle. I'm like, the Spread Eagle Killer. Wow. Because he spreads the legs spreads the victim's legs open, and then and it was the Spread Eagle Killer. Gotta be fucking kidding. But anyway, yeah. So they gotta stop the Spread Eagle Killer, and the Spread Eagle Killer himself is it's pretty. You know who the killer is once this certain character named Martin shows up, played by an actor named Jon Tenney, and I was like, he's the killer. And then I was right, and I was like, oh, that kind of sucks because I predicted the killer about halfway through the movie. But it worked out all right because Jon Tenney played a great bad guy. He played a great serial killer. He was very creepy. He was a very strange guy. He did a good job putting on a good face where he's being this nice, suave, artist. And then when he's going into full killer mode, he's intimidating and definitely really strange and creepy. You definitely sent a few chills down my spine because I think he was very effectively crazy. I didn't feel like it was just acting. It felt real to me that this guy is fucked in the head. And you find out why he's spreading the legs open of these victims, which I actually thought was actually really clever touch. I don't know if Wes is the one that came up with this or the other writer Thomas Baum, but I like the concept of okay, what he's doing is he's making a a portrait using he's making a portrait of the Vitruvian Man. And the Vitruvian Man is, but not really a portrait of the. It's a different version of the Vitruvian Man, the famous Da Vinci photo, the Da Vinci painting of the man with the multiple arms and legs. So what he's doing is he's trying to make a perfect woman based on this template. So what he's doing is he's killing these beautiful women, cutting up their body part, not really cutting up their body parts, but taking pictures of their body parts and in black and white and putting them on this wall that he's creating for this big painting. And they're not really painting. I mean, it's a picture. It's a portrait. It's a portrait. It's a big picture made out of all these smaller pictures of the bodies of the victims. And of course, you find, of course, that the only thing that's missing now is the head, and of course, there's going to be Loryn Locklin. And but I really like I don't know, just something about that I liked. I really liked that the way that okay, the Spread Eagle Killer, he's killing these women, strangling them, and so forth, and stabbing them, and he's doing it to create an art project based on Da Vinci. I thought that was actually kind of interesting. and definitely another weird, strange, creepy thing added to Jon Tenney's character Martin. And but of course, you don't really get to find out who the killer is until the climax, of course, because it's movie's about an hour and a half, so we gotta pad the running time for a little bit. So you have moments where Loryn Locklin's in her multiple personalities and just happens to be there at the scene of the crime when somebody gets killed. So then, of course, she's a suspect, and then the back and forth sort of stuff between her and her partner. She decides to do things on her own, and James Remar doesn't know why she just keeps doing that, and he's trying to help her out to try to be herself. He goes in with her and he finds out where she's at. He discovers one of her and one of her multiple personalities while she's the rich, the girlfriend of this rich movie star, and he meets up with her and he's like, hey, what's going on, Sally? And he's just like, what? I don't know. I know you. I'm sorry. You must have me confused with somebody else. And I guess there's an assassination plot going on here. Some guy's gonna get shot, and like she goes to this. There's like somebody that's reading palms at the party. I don't know why. It's just for the convenience of the plot, and warns them that death is gonna happen, come soon or whatever. And I guess they're trying to stop some sniper from shooting somebody, and so James Remar takes a bullet for the wife of one of these big movie star guys, not the same one that Sally in one of her multiple personalities is dating, but a different one. Of course, this is after much. After it took a while for him to get into the party because at first he tried to get in there and he's met by this big giant black, huge black guy. I think he might have been a wrestler in WWF, or I've definitely seen him before. And I think it's the same actor I think I saw in Fist of the North Star, who had like a weird cloudy eye. I don't remember who the actor's name was. But anyway, James Remar tries to get in by showing his badge, and I like the lines of dialogue here where the security guard's like, I don't care if you're the CIA or the FBI, you ain't getting through here. And he's like, James Remar's trying to trick him, like, hey, your shoe's untied. I'm wearing loafers. Nice try. And then he tries to, intimidate him. He's like, he pulls out his gun. How about I blow your ears off your big head? And then the security guard's like, turn around. And then James Remar turns around. There's all these like security guards who dress like Crockett from Miami Vice, pointing guns at James Remar. And James Remar's like, all right, all right. I was just leaving. I was just leaving. So if you like that type of humor and that type of those type of one-liners and fun moments and in your cop films or your cop mystery thrillers, there's some fun to be had with this film. And of course, they figure out who the killer is, and they have the climax where Loryn Locklin's on top of a rooftop, and James Remar comes in after he chokes out Mitch Pileggi with his tie in order to get the information of where Loryn Locklin is. And he had to do that by force because he wasn't going to tell him because Loryn Locklin gave him the information of where she believes the killer is going to be, give him an upper hand so he could reinstate James Remar. Because he got suspended after he saved the wife of the movie star from the assassination attempt. And so then lead to the rooftop, and James Remar shows up, manages to get Loryn Locklin to snap out of whatever personality she's in and be herself. She fights back, and then it's a nice use of slow-mo here where the killer grabs Loryn Locklin and James Remar's running, and then they both, Loryn Locklin and Sally and the killer Martin, they fall off the edge of the building, but Sally's holding on for dear life on the edge of the roof. And it looks like they're really doing this stunt. And then she gets enough strength and then kicks the killer because he's hanging off her legs, and she kicks him off. And this is a real stunt. This is a pretty pretty tall, multi-story building. And you see, Wes does a great job shooting this, where the guy just falls. It's a real stuntman who falls from a really long height into a newspaper cart. So he falls into a newspaper stand, and it's really well shot and well done with the little bits of slow mo. And for a TV movie, it really did end with a bang. I mean, how many TV movies do you know that end with like really impressive stunts like that, where the guy falls like multiple stories? So it's something that we would probably take for granted nowadays, that type of stunt work. But to me, I really don't take it for granted because I really appreciate that type of stunt work because that's becoming a dying art. You really don't see that type of stunt work nowadays. It's usually a CGI stuntman. So that takes you out of it because you can tell it's a CGI stuntman. Here, it was actually a real stuntman who's falling down multiple stories into a newspaper stand. Of course, there's probably a pillow, air pillow underneath it, but yeah. Um, yeah, so that's Night Visions. It's a TV movie, so there's really not a lot of gore or anything. It's not really, I don't think it's really, the title really doesn't fit the film. It's called Night Visions. It sounds like a horror film. It's not a horror movie, and it rarely ever takes place at night. Like there's a few moments where it's at night, but the climax happens during the day. So I don't really know why it's called Night Visions. Um, she's psychic, but she doesn't only have her psychic visions at night. Maybe the night visions is trying to represent the darkness of what she's seeing or something, trying to stop a killer. But um, it's almost like that title kind of fits more for the movie Fear with Ali Sheedy, which I really like. I'd have to say I probably like that more than this. That deals with a killer and the psychic who's trying to find him, and that one definitely had more atmosphere and definitely had a better mood than this. It definitely took itself more seriously as well. It was definitely more suspenseful. But this is entertaining. This is fun. I thought this is an above average TV movie. I mean, for TV movie standards, it's one of the better ones I've seen. So if I was just going to rate it as a TV movie, I'd probably give it 4 out of 5. But as just a straight up film, it's just an above average movie. But when it comes to TV movies, I give a little bit of things a certain slide because the TV movies are not the same thing as a theatrical feature. They don't have that big of a budget, and so they're pretty hampered on what they can do. But there's a lot of sequences in this film that felt very cinematic and looked very worthy of being in a theater because of Wes Craven's direction. And there was some fun, witty lines of dialogue, some well-written characters. It was really fun to see Mitch Pileggi play a hard-ass police captain. Loryn Locklin, when she was playing her different personalities, was actually did a really good job. It's pretty impressive for what she had to do. She just wasn't that interesting of a character when she wasn't one of her multiple personalities. James Remar was a lot of fun, and I really honestly wish he had more screen time because it might honestly be my favorite role of his. I really enjoyed his performance that much. It was a lot of fun. I mean, very irreverent, funny, witty, asshole cop, with a heart of gold, so to speak. But and the killer, Jon Tenney, was actually pretty effectively chilling. Predictable, but it was chilling. The movie it definitely is corny. I mean, aerobics dance classes and lambada and the name of the killer is the spread eagle killer. But I think it's a lot better than it really has any right being because of the fact that it's a TV movie and dealing with the a certain subject material it's dealing with. I mean, it's a buddy cop comedy, not really a buddy cop comedy, but a buddy cop show slash TV pilot movie with James Remar and Loryn Locklin as partners. And Loryn Locklin is a psychic cop who has multiple personalities, and James Remar is a gruff, take no shit cop. And so it's like, what if you had 48 hours and Reggie was psychic and also had multiple personalities? This is this craziness, that you just cannot believe any of this is happening. Um, but yeah, it's. I think it should be. I think it's worth a watch. I really do. I really think it's worth a watch because of how it handles things, and just to see Wes Craven do his take on a 90s cop movie. He really never got the opportunity to do something like this ever again, which is really too bad because I think he really did a great job with it. And I really would have liked to have seen what he could have done with a bigger budget and maybe a little bit of more A-list stars, so to speak, and to see what he could make his kind of version of Blue Steel with Jamie Lee Curtis and Ron Silver, which there are some similarities with this film to that as well. I'd probably say I prefer that film over this as well, but I still like the movie. It was a surprise for me, and yeah, I thought it was a entertaining TV movie. Went by at a quick pace. It was well directed by Wes. It was well written. It had some really fun, witty lines of dialogue. I don't know if Wes wrote them or Thomas Baum did it, but either one, I mean, they did a good job. And James Remar was solid. Loryn Locklin was there. She was good enough. And Mitch Pileggi was fun to see as the police captain. It was kept me engaged, kept me interested. I was never bored, and yeah, it had enough of an edge to it that it didn't feel completely tame, but then it also had fun with itself, which is really nice to see. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what else to say about the film. Like I said, it's a TV movie. Just rating it as a TV movie, 4 out of 5. Rating it as a movie, I'd probably give it 3.5. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching my review of Night Visions, and I will see you guys later. See ya.